Hey everybody, wanted to jump on real fast to talk about the game tonight. Welcome to the Hoot KSU podcast. Something funny with doing things from a video platform point of view is that your family's always there to let you know what you can do better. So hopefully the sound's better. I'll do my best to stop touching my face so much. Apparently that was a thing. So my hands are clasped right here. So I'll be less tempted to mess with my face. Tonight, Ohio State, Notre Dame. I think we're in for a good game. I do. I think that both defenses are really good. Both offenses. I think Ohio State's offense is better than Notre Dame's is. Two senior quarterbacks. So, yeah, I mean, it can really go either way, I think. If I had to make a pick, I would say Ohio State. I would say that simply because I know that Notre Dame has a lot of injuries on defense. Additionally, I know that field goal kicker for Notre Dame has been shaky. He's been good in the playoffs, but I know he's shaky earlier this season, so we'll see what the nerves look like for him. I think that, the difference maker, as it has been the last couple games with Ohio State, is Henderson. For Ohio State, the running back, he is just amazing. Just the speed and the just ability and the power, he's the real deal. At the same time, love for Notre Dame is remarkable. I mean, you've seen that slow motion replay probably a few times on the goal line against Penn State. So he's got it too. I think you're definitely going to see a lower scoring game. I think that if there is a team to blow out the other one, it's Ohio State over Notre Dame, and I simply say that because of the passing options. But just like we saw with Smith in the last game that Ohio State played, is they kind of bracketed him and took him completely out of the equation. But Ibuka, there I just hit my face. Ibuka at the same time was open a good bit. So is that tight end they have. That's really good. So, again, as I said last time we did this, even though I was getting things right, I will say do not take this as advice to bet. Do that at your own risk. But I'm going to say Ohio State 31, Notre Dame 21 when it's all said and done with. I like Riley Leonard for Notre Dame. I think he's a good manager of the game. Not afraid to kind of get in there, run the ball some. But if it comes down to just passing, I like Ohio State's chances. And sooner or later, what's going to happen tonight with both of those running backs, Judkins too for Ohio State, so all the running backs, is that the defenses are going to play 8 in the box and make you beat them passing. I mean, that most likely is kind of where this game goes. Stop the run, force the team to pass. Okay, if you do that in both scenarios, who has the more explosive passing offense or the more competent passing offense, honestly, and that's Ohio State. I think that they have a lot less impactful injuries on defense as well. Now, I will say that Notre Dame's secondary is one of the best in the country. But, I just think that with as many different options that they have offensively speaking, and, Ryan Day, offensive mind, as is Chip Kelly, all offensive minds. So I just lean that way because I think that they have more options to score than Notre Dame does. I think Notre Dame is traditional, kind of ground and pound, work the clock down, play good defense. But if you need to score, I think that Ohio State has the more prolific offense. And honestly, they've looked the best of any of these teams in the playoffs. They really have. They've had the harder path. Even the Georgia game with Notre Dame was with a first-time starting quarterback who was a true freshman. For Ohio State to, beat Tennessee the way they did, to beat Oregon the way they did, to beat Texas convincingly. I think that is quite the pathway to get to this point, and then to go in and beat Notre Dame as well, if that's how it ends up, is really a historic run and one worthy of a national championship, which was the whole idea behind the playoffs anyways, is that you kind of had to earn your way in. You had to get in there, face the best teams in the country to prove that you really are the national champion. Which I like that a lot. I like that with these playoffs a great deal. Now, one thing I would say is I think that it's been spread out too far. I think we could have probably finished this last weekend, but I think that they'll obviously go back and tweak some things and improve some things over time. But I just feel like it's kind of getting late in the year to still be talking about college football. I think that, especially when you look at the portal's been opened up, it's actually come and gone, and you have most of the transfers already finished. So, yeah, the calendar's all messed up. They've got to kind of get that together a little bit. I saw Feinbaum had said something about not reserving that weekend for Army Navy game only and to start the playoffs there. I don't know about that. I think that game is a very special game, and I don't like breaking traditions. It seems like most traditions that we grew up with on college football have already been broken. A lot of the rivalries have gone away. So I do like to keep certain things like that, but it's almost like we could have had some midweek matchups instead of waiting to the weekend, especially during the breaks. But television ratings definitely are with a motivating factor there. So I get it. But I think they'll get it better. I think that overall, the whole experience of the college football playoffs, the first round were mostly blowouts, nothing really all that entertaining there. And then the second round were much better games. And even the semifinals I thought were good games. So other than the first round, which the first round should be more lopsided games. It happens in every sport there is. I mean, even looking at the NFL playoffs, there were some upsets, but there were some one-sided contests for sure that really weren't all that entertaining. The NCAA tournament with basketball, again, you see most of the blowouts in the beginning, and they get closer and closer as the tournament progresses. I think going to 14, going to 16, which is probably the sweet spot, is 16. I think that produces a lot of really exciting games. I don't know. I think football lends itself to seeing the bigger upset in the first rounds than like does basketball. But who knows? Every year is a new year. Just like we've spoken about the last couple episodes of this, is with the way that the sport is going, then you just don't know what team's going to be what year in, year out. And that with the wealth of players being spread out evenly throughout the country to all of these teams that have plenty of money, I think that you'll just never know. I think every year you're going to have a team that kind of comes down that was up high. Like, let's say, for example, Oregon. Oregon was undefeated, number one team in the country. Only loss they had was Ohio State. Okay. So then next year, if there's a lot of turnover at the top, you have transfers going different places, do they come back down to an 8-win team, a 9-win team? I think what we saw, as I said previously, with Washington, with Michigan, with Florida State, even Alabama, I think that regression to the mean is going to be more commonplace in the sport as time goes on. So definitely enjoy tonight. I hope it's a good game regardless of what happens. Again, my pick would be Ohio State 31-21 over Notre Dame, but I'm looking for a great game. Just a nice way to cap the season. There's nothing worse, from a neutral especially, there's nothing worse in the Super Bowl or national championship game that's so lopsided that it's not even watchable, that a team wins 60-10 or something like that. No one wants to watch that. Give me a competitive game, hard-hitting game. We've got a game in the fourth quarter is all you can ask for. Just make it within a possession or so within the fourth quarter, and I'm going to be a happy person. Those of you in Georgia and the South, it's cold out there, so make sure you're wearing layers. We are not prepared for this kind of cold. So people in the North, they get used to this stuff a lot. They have the clothes, they have the layers. We do not. So hopefully this comes and goes real fast. So stay warm out there, stay safe out there, enjoy tonight, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.